This is Providence Television International, the game changer. Stand by for the next program.
Good day and welcome. Thanks for actually staying tuned. This is the newspaper analysis on the morning drive, and we'll be starting off actually with the Vanguard newspaper. But with me in the studio to carry out a full-time analysis on the newspapers, I have the Chairman Chief Executive Officer of Providence Television International, Dr. Emmanuel Igariba. You're welcome to the studio.
Yes, a bright day, very sunny day in Benin, and I just hope it stays that way. So welcome to all our viewers at home and abroad. Yes.
And so we'll be starting off with the Vanguard newspapers, where we have a screaming header. J-Ro reveals understanding with Tinubu, says Labour accepted 70,000 naira minimum wage for government not to increase fuel price.
Well, I think I said it before on this program that J-Ro and the NLC, they've been boxed into a corner. Absolutely, because they didn't reckon with the fact that they could go down the lane of deception. And that's what they're regretting now, by the way. And look at what happened. Yes, the 70,000 minimum wage was approved, and I think 2 days after,
yes,
there was a price hike. So that's where we are. I have often said it, all this talk about minimum wage could not have been necessary, could not have even come alive if from the outset the labor movement decided to stick to certain principles. I mean, on the day of inauguration, the president announced that subsidy was going to be removed. And that led to a series of incidents. So, but I do know that Labour is also gearing up for something now. But how many people are really going to support them? But this back and forth movement, how many people? And in any case, come to even think of it, the 70,000 minimum wage, how many people are abiding with that? I think that's another issue that we must talk about. So it didn't quite fly. It didn't quite fly. And I imagine that, yes, truly, they've been boxed into a spot.
Okay.
Right? And how to wriggle out of it is a problem now. But far beyond all of this, and this makes me sad, really, when Labour is fighting for workers, they fight only for people in the public sector, as it were, public servants, civil servants. What are the people out there who are privately employed? It's like they are not reckoned with. They are not in the equation at all. And Labour is Labour anywhere. Well, it's the Nigerian Labour Congress. It's Labour everywhere. It's not saying Labour NLC for just public servants. Okay? What of ordinary folks who are doing things to lift up the economy of this country? The organized private sector, the SMEs, for instance, how are they being taken into consideration? And I think that's a question, a very big question for the NLC, if they are going to be taken seriously in this country.
All right, this statement, do you think it is indicting to government?
Yes, it could be, but what can they do? What can NLC do? Because they missed the track, ab initio. They missed the track, and I feel sorry for NLC, really, because they are going to come out again now. What are they going to say, right? And it's been, as I said, it's been this back and forth movement, and people are getting really restive. They are getting restive, and many Nigerians are quite disappointed in what the interest that Labour represents. So, but I think that at the end of the day, there must be a way out. There is no problem without a solution. I believe that, yes.
All right. We'll move to the front page of the Saturday Punch, where we have fuel price hike, Nigerians lament worsening hunger, soaring transport fares.
Just yesterday, I said something, that we are approaching the Yuletide season. Yes. We are going to November. I mean, we want to go to November, then the period of Advent is just staring us in the face. And people must celebrate, come to think of it, because Christmas is a special season. People must celebrate. But the question is, how are they going to celebrate? With their families, with their loved ones, when the price of petroleum has gone through the roof, when there are things that people cannot purchase any longer, when, as the newspaper say, people are lamenting. All right, some people will say they are groaning, Right. And I don't think that this is right. I mean, for any government, this is not right. People must be happy, particularly at festive periods such as this. And again, as I've said elsewhere, Nigerians are groaning, they are lamenting, they are going through pain, sorrow, and yet the lifestyle of some of people in government runs contrary to the reality on the ground.
Exactly.
So I do justify that. I have often postulated that if the people are in pain, they must share in the pain. If the people are happy, yes, everybody is happy. It's across the board. But the situation where, I mean, there's total disparity now, so to speak. And I don't think that's good for the psyche of our people and also for the spirit of good governance.
Exactly.
Okay? So let's hang it there.
Total disparity and loss of compassion, where the number 3 man in the country is saying that Nigerians should limit themselves, reduce the number of cars, and he has a fleet of cars. Let's touch on that a little.
Number 3 man, you are talking about the Senate
President, yes.
The question, you should ask that. How many cars does he have? No, it's not a laughing matter.
It becomes serious. It's like Nigerians have been taken for a ride, been taken for granted. Yes, exactly.
I saw his convoy the other day. Choice cars. Each of them could not have been less than 100 million.
Exactly.
Okay? And yet we are living in a country where people are living in squalor. Majority of Nigerians are in pains. Okay? And then you are saying that people should reduce the number of cars.
Yeah.
How many people have more than 3 cars now anyway? Or 2. Let me even say 2, not 3.
You made mention of the fact yesterday that even some who have, due to this price hike, they park their cars at home.
I don't know if it is the car that has abandoned them or they have abandoned the vehicle. It's a pity. It's quite a pity. You know, it's look at, you go on the street, you see the rickety nature of our vehicles. Rickety. You know, some have no bumpers anymore because you can't afford it. Everything has gone up. The spare parts you cannot buy because if you go to the market, you want to buy a spare part, they will tell you that, Oga, don't you know the exchange rate?
Exactly.
Yes, that's what they will tell you. How many people can really, I'm talking of average Nigerians, how many people can really, truly maintain 2 cars now? Yes. I'm not even talking of 3 cars. Probably the head of the family has 1, the wife has 1. In between them, how many families can maintain 2 vehicles? It is difficult. And yet, look at our people in government. When they go out, look at the convoys of cars. I'm not even talking of just cars, choice cars, exotic cars. That's what they are riding. And as you rightly said, they are taking Nigerians for a ride. And I don't think it is a proper thing to do. Right.
Well, moving from fuel matters to security. Bandits heighten killing spree as military fails to capture Bello Toji. This is still on the front page of the Saturday Punch.
We are not the ones saying that now. Screaming headlines. Look at it.
Exactly.
Nigerians lament. No, remove that, Jane. Remove that. Is it still on the Punch?
Yeah, still on the Saturday Punch. Bandits heighten killing spree. Exactly. As military fails to capture Bello Toji.
So, right, we are not the ones saying that.
At all.
Yes, it's the newspaper. And the Punch newspaper is a very well-respected paper in this country.
Yes.
Okay? Just like a few others. So they know what they are talking about. And again, you see, it borders on tackling things with utmost seriousness. I feel pains when I get to know about such things. Because as a Nigerian, I should give kudos to our security forces who are really doing their best in the present circumstance. But is their best giving us the real result? I've often said it, that we need to tackle these problems holistically. And one of the issues we must tackle is the issue of intelligence. Intelligence gathering. Let us nip these things in the bud, even before they strike. Yes. Before they strike, we should be able to meet them at the point of planning. It is after they strike that we now start running scatter, and lives will have been lost anyway. I feel sorry really for the military forces. They are doing their best, but the authorities should also recognize that they are doing their best in very difficult circumstances. Very difficult. The other day, and I'm sure you can remember, we said something like the people in the front line are complaining. Yes, exactly. We said so. Even some newspapers carried this story, that they are complaining they are not well taken care of. All right? And these are people who are laying down their lives for you and I. They are laid on the front line, fighting bandits, fighting also the people, yes, who are playing very terrible roles in this country. But we must give them kudos all the same. We must give them kudos. They should not relent in their efforts. And I'm sure that one day, someday, somebody will recognize that they are playing very formidable and promising roles.
All right, we move down to the health sector as regards what we've discussed a few times in this studio, brain drain. Nigeria has only 80 heart surgeons, Association President Etuba says. This is still on the front page of the Saturday Punch.
Heart surgeons, probably cardiologists. Yeah, they are specialists. Very difficult area of medicine. Difficult area of medicine. How many people want to go into that for their specialist courses? Very few. And yet we're talking about 80 to a population of over 200 million people. So if you look at the ratio, it's really absurd and quite ridiculous. But again, you talked about brain drain. Are they really appreciated in this country? Because these medical people, when they go outside, yes, they give them their dues. But in this country, they are not given their dues. They are not. And I know, because I've had interactions with medical experts in the course of my career, and I do realize that many of them are working in strenuous conditions, either in the specialist hospitals or in the teaching hospitals, okay? And that is one aspect of healthcare delivery. You're talking of heart surgeon. What of psychiatrists? How many of them are there? Yes. Exactly. What of psychiatrists? Those critical areas. What of orthopedics, bone surgeons? There are very few. The specialized areas, there are very few. The only specialist area I know now that we probably have enough, even that is debatable, is ONG, house and gynae. Okay? But look at the others. Look at the others. Kidney experts. How many of them? You'll find most of them in Europe and the United States. Many of them have left. They have left in droves. So it's a thing we must tackle very seriously. And look at the people in government. At the slightest headache, they run to Europe.
Yes.
They run to Europe, they run to the US, they run to United Arab Emirates, run to Dubai. At the slightest opportunity of a headache, which can be treated here. Look, let me tell you, my father worked in the hospital system all through his life. And in those days, as a young boy growing up in Lagos, I used to go to the hospital, General Hospital in Lagos, to be very specific. And there, one doctor could see just about maybe 20 people. The ratio was very small. And these were good doctors, very good doctors. I can tell you that for sure. Good doctors who would prescribe just one medicine for all kinds of ailments. Now, doctors are prescribing 9 drugs.
For one.
Yes, because sometimes they are not even too sure. But that's by the way, that's another issue altogether. So I'm saying that we must pay attention to healthcare delivery. A healthy nation is a wealthy nation. Yes, you cannot fault that statement. It's almost eternal. You can't fault it. When the people are healthy, that means the nation is wealthy. Because you need a healthy workforce to make things work. Yes. And if you go to the teaching hospitals now, what do you find? You go to the general hospitals, what do you find? Whereas, ideally, there should be hospitals down the line, up to the local government level. Particularly because we have a population that has risen astronomically over the years. We need to tackle, and there are communicable diseases now that we cannot wish away. They are growing by the day, all right? So we need to tackle them. And we need to give special concessions to medical students, you know. Where they are paying 20 naira, let them pay 10 naira as school fees. Their books should also be subsidized because they are looking after life. Life is key. Life is number one. You can only do things by being alive. If you are not alive, you cannot do anything. So we need to subsidize. And books, medical books, by the way, are very expensive. They are very, very expensive, that I know of. Yes. And we must tackle things head on.
All right, we'll be moving down to the Saturday Telegraph, and on the front page of the Saturday Telegraph, we have quite an interesting story there. Sources: Tinubu using vacation to compile new cabinet list. President not under pressure to reshuffle cabinet.
Who is saying that? That must be an ascription to somebody.
Yes, but not stated.
Not stated.
Yes.
Anyway, maybe it's coming from the presidency, that the president himself is not under any pressure. But that's not even the issue now. The issue is, why must the president go abroad?
To compile.
To compile list of people. I mean, that shows how serious we are in this country. That much the president can do in Nigeria. He can do in the privacy of his home in Lagos without having to travel out. Yes. Isolate yourself from visitors and all kinds of people. Give them 1 week. I don't want to see anybody. And you do your job rather than go abroad. What is he looking for abroad? It's not privacy.
Exactly.
Yes, which you can find anywhere in this country. Go to Obudu Ranch. Move away from Aso Rock if that's what he wants, and have some privacy. But you are going abroad. You can be sure that even Nigerians now will fly abroad to go and meet him.
Definitely.
To go and lobby.
Definitely.
Yes, they do. They have the money. They'll go and meet him. So the pressure that they are talking about is far removed from reality. Okay? So, and I don't think that why must they even announce it that there must be a cabinet reshuffle? Why must you announce it? It should just have come as a surprise.
Exactly.
I have often said it. I mean, I was in government, for instance, and the best thing to do, October 1st was a missed opportunity. Yes. Because he gave a speech on October 1st, talking about the president. That day, he ought to have announced a new list of people in government. Let it come to them. That's what the military used to do. It will come as a surprise. Yes. So that there will be no room for lobbying and all sort of things. It is when you now announce it, and then you create all kinds of cleavages, and people begin to run talking to all kinds of people and all that within the political system. But once you take it head on and people are surprised, then that means you are serious.
Exactly.
Yes. Because right now, what is happening is that you cannot even be sure of the right set of people, because lobbying will have been given some premium.
Very, very true.
Yes.
Well, quite some good news. Talking about African Cup of Nations qualifiers, Super Eagles beat Libya, consolidate lead in Group D.
Well, good news, yes, as you rightly said, good news. The championship is here around the corner.
Yes.
So we must up our game very seriously, particularly in the areas of equipment and training. Yes, we must have the right equipment. We must also have the right training, technical training, so to speak. And this issue of appointing coaches back and forth should not arise if we are serious. But I believe in appointing local coaches who have been exposed, who are doing very well, rather than depend on foreign coaches. I'm not in support of having foreign coaches. No, let us have our indigenous coaches and encourage them to do what they are supposed to do. It is because they are not encouraged that they back out, at the nick of time. But if we encourage them and expose them to many tournaments of friendlies, they will pick up and do the right thing.
Okay. Yes. Well, much as I'm not gunning for Guavon, but your own opinion, he seems to be quite a good candidate for that position now.
He is. I mean, he has paid his dues, has played for the national side. He has attended, that I know much about, attended a lot of training coaches, a lot of training programs, rather, and is liked, very well loved by the players.
Yes.
And I think that's important. If you have a coach that is not loved by the players, you are going nowhere.
Exactly.
I think it's in synergy with the players. They know him. They know him very well. What's that name they call him now? This Italian player. Oh, I can't remember now. But that's the nickname. Gentile. Is it Gentile or something? I cannot remember. But that means that they realize that he has the capabilities to teach them tactics. Because football is all about tactical approach. All right. What I will even advise is that if you have a Guavon, for instance, as a coach, bring in a lot of old coaches to support him in advisory roles. Alabi is here.
Okay.
Coach Alabi is here in Benin. He's an expert in technical approach to football. I'm not saying you should give him a role because he's over 80 years now, but he can be there to advise in certain areas. That's maybe 1 or 2, 3 others who can support from the sideline. Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being with us. With this, we come to the end of the newspaper analysis. But as usual, don't go away because we have quite a lot packaged for your viewing pleasure. The interview segment comes up next on the Morning Drive.